Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu salam, rasulullah, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Tariq Khalid. I'd like to welcome to a program here at Sharjah TV on getting to know your Lord and getting closer to Allah. And we hope and we pray by Allah's mercy and grace that all of our viewers get the benefit of the programs, and at the same time, the most important thing is to get to know your Lord and to establish a relationship with Him and to be firm in that relationship and understanding that your salvation is in it, in this world and more importantly hereafter. And if you don't make that choice, then unfortunately there are consequences for these actions. But today we want to talk about the coming of the Antichrist, Dajjal, and the warning. Why I'm taking time out the warnings? We said, why on this program? Because he is just the opposite. He's going to come with miracles that people have never seen before, and he's going to call people to believe in him, to worship him. So he will be the biggest test for man and the last of the severe tests until the day of judgment. So if you're around, then you need to prepare yourself. And you should prepare your children now. And your children, remind them to prepare their children so that your generations are aware that he's going to come and he's going to be a test. And it's going to be a severe test for the believers. So we need to understand that, and we need to make an effort on it. And Abu Bakr, narrated the Prophet ﷺ, said, the Dajjal will emerge from a land in the east called Khorasan. This is in present-day Iran. And he will be followed by people with faces like hammered shields. And this is just a description of the roundness of the people's face. So we need to understand that this is real. And it's going to be a very severe, or let's say he is going to be a severe test for us if we're present. And the people, if you today are confused, let's put it like that, and as a result of that, you don't believe in God, okay, or you're worshiping something created by God or created by man, you're going to be in trouble. Okay? You're going to be in trouble. So take the time out now. Now, let's see what the Prophet ﷺ said in relationship to this. Before the emergence of Dajjal, there will be 3 years of drought. So if you see something like this, then be aware. This is a warning. It's a warning. And this is something that we've never heard of before. So it will distinguish itself. Again, remember, it will be totally distinguishable from anything people have experienced before. Abu Umama al-Bahili narrated the Prophet ﷺ said, before the appearance of Dajjal, there will be 3 difficult years in which the people will suffer severe famine. In the first year, Allah will command the sky to withhold 1/3 of its rain. 1/3. And the earth, too, withhold 1/3 of its produce. Now just imagine that. If that was to happen now, globally, 1/3 of the produce in the world was neutralized. What do you think would be the condition? What would people do in your society, wherever you're living today? What do you think would happen? I'm not going to say, but just think for yourself. Where it is that you live, you know the people, you know the mentality of the people where you live. What do you think they would do? What would be the condition if 1/3 of the food stuff for the year is withheld? Okay? And 1/3 of its produce. In the second year, he will command the sky to withhold 2/3 of its rain, and its earth withhold 2/3 of its produce. So first year was 1/3. Second year, 2/3. So that means that there's only whatever you're accustomed to, there's only 1/3 left. Imagine. And in the third year, he will command the sky to withhold all of its rain, and not a single drop will fall, and the earth to withhold all of its produce, and nothing will grow. All cloven, hoofed animals will die, except those who Allah wills. It's collected by a Muslim. Think about it. What will be the condition then? What will be your condition if you are with your family? The third year, if you survive, the third year, there's no water, no produce. Think about it. And for people who says, okay, well, I have a farm and I have my own animals, and the animals die. Just imagine. It's unimaginable. If we just look at generally in any society, how many eggs people eat a day, how many chickens they eat in a week, how many pieces of beef or whatever it might be they eat in a week. It's astronomical when we talk about food stuff and its production in today's world. So imagine we're without that. What will be the condition? And Abdullah bin Umar, narrates, we were sitting with the Prophet ﷺ, and he mentioned tribulations and spoke at length about them until he mentioned fitna al-ahlas, a tribulation which will be lengthy and intense. And someone asked Rasulullah, what is fitna al-ahlas? He said, people will flee and will lose their property and families. Then there will come fitna al-sara, a tribulation caused by luxury and a life of ease, which will be caused by a man from among my family who will claim that he is of me, but he will not be of me, for my friends are the pious. Then the people will unite under a man like a hip bone over rib, meaning unstable. Then will come the huge tribulation, which will not leave anyone of this nation without giving him a slap. When it is said that it is over, it will be extended, and a man will be a believer in the morning and a disbeliever in the evening. And the people are split into two camps. The camp of faith, in which there will be no hypocrisy, and the camp of hypocrisy, in which there will be no faith. When that happens, then expect the Dajjal on that day or the next. This is collected by Abu Dawood. And Samura bin Jundub, reported to the Prophet ﷺ, said, by Allah, the hour will not begin until 30 liars have emerged, the last of whom will be the one-eyed Dajjal, whose left eye is abraded. It's collected by Ahmed and Ibn Hibban. So, if we look at this, we say, these are some signs that are coming before him, but close. So if we see these things happen, we see liars, meaning that these were people who will make themselves known. We say lie, it won't just be someone quiet, right? It will be someone known. Like we see today, we see people on TV, we see all kinds of, we see people out in parks and streets and with microphones, a whole host of such situations where in today's society in different places in the world, where there are people who are known for being out in public and making certain statements. So it would be obvious about these people for the people who wish to see. The people who are following this, of course, is something different. And we know, unfortunately, that today there are many people who, they listen and believe everything that some of these people say right now. So what will happen in that time? And because it's clearly coming. So prepare yourself, prepare your family. And Jabir narrated, the Prophet ﷺ said, the Dajjal will emerge when people's religious commitment are low and they have turned away from knowledge. Religious commitment is low and have turned away from knowledge. Don't be among these people. Learn your religion. Teach your children the religion. Make sure that your children know Islam. He will have 40 days during which he will travel about 1 day like a year, 1 day like a month, and 1 day like a week, and the rest of his days like your days. He will have a donkey, and the distance between its ears will be 40 cubits. He will come to the people and say, I am your Lord, but your Lord is not one-eyed. Written between his eyes will be the letters Kaf, Fa, Ra, and it's in Arabic, meaning Kafir, and every believer will be able to read it, whether he is literate or illiterate. He will pass by every water source except Medina and Mecca, which Allah will forbid to him, and angels will stand at their gates. Look about Ahmed and Hakim. So he will go to every place but Mecca and Medina. So he will be gathering people. What is your present status? I'm asking you yourself. Think about this. If you're here, what will you do? Do you have a means or methodology? Do you have a plan? Because if you don't, you're going to be in trouble. Some people say, oh, don't worry, I can cover this, I can do that. The Prophet ﷺ told us, if we hear about him, do not go towards him. Go away from him. And if you can, make it to Mecca or Medina, where you'll be protected. Or if you cannot, then to go to Sham, which is, of course, Syria, Lebanon, Palestine, which basically is talking about Damascus or Jerusalem. So we have choices now, as we're hearing, but those choices will be narrow. And these things will take place very rapidly. This is the other thing. I hear young people now talking about the days are going by so fast. And, you know, I've just finished work. It's Friday or Thursday, whatever day is your last day of the work week. And then I'm back at work again. Or some people come on vacation and say, just like I just got here and I returned back home. That's an example. Or I just had some days off and now I'm returned to my workplace. So the time is running rapidly and the world has become a smaller place due to the technology that we have today. And this, of course, is a proof of it. So you need to understand something. What is your contingency plan? What is your contingency plan? You must have some plan. You must think about what it is that I need to do. This is something that you need to put into your thinking with your family. If ABC happens, which it is, and the test is that we don't know when. We know it's coming, but we don't know when. But what will you do? And I'm primarily addressing the non-believers, because the non-believers will be at total loss. And as a result, to his trickology, for lack of a better description, he will be able to influence the minds of people where they will be totally confused. And we see this today with some of these people that are out here, you know, promoting whatever they're promoting. As you well know, we've had different groups, for lack of a better description, where people have followed and are following so-called charismatic leaders who their intentions are very questionable. And their actions also have proven to be questionable, but there are people presently who are following them and serving in whatever capacity that they can. So what about this, which will be superior to anything that any of these people, that even if you put them all together, all the cultists, if you put them all together with all their magic and whatever they're doing, if you put them all together in the whole world, they would not be able to equal what Dajjal can do. No. So how do you protect yourself? We need to understand this. And the protection is to come to Islam and to practice it every day of your life. Yes, people say, oh, well, brother, you just want us to be Muslim. That's all. There's other ways. I said, well, if there are other ways, what are other ways? We've been told clearly Allah has given us the Quran, Allah has given us the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ to explain to us what to do and how to go about doing it. And in another narration, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, if you see him, then recite the first 10 verses of Surah Kahf, or the last 10 verses of Surah Kahf, and this will be a means of protection for you. So as a non-Muslim, you don't have a clue about this. So what will you do? How will you now keep your family from following this? Yes, okay. It's easy now to say, well, I don't believe in any of this. This is just fantasy. I said, okay, fine. Hudhayfah bin al-Yaman narrated the Prophet ﷺ said, he will have with him a garden and a fire. But his fire will be a garden, his garden will be fire. He said, he will have with him water and fire. But his fire will be cool water, and his water will be fire. He said, I know what the Dajjal will have with him. He will have 2 flowing rivers. One that appears to the eye to be clear water, and one which appears to the eye to be flaming fire. If anyone sees that, let him go to the river which he thinks is fire. In another narration, he says, let him go to the river which he thinks is fire and close his eyes. Then lower his head and drink from this fire, for it is cool water. According to another narration, he said, as for that which the people will think is water, it will be burning fire. And as for that which the people will think is fire, it will be sweet, cool water. Whoever among them sees this, then let him plunge into that which he thinks is fire, for it is sweet, cool water. So we ask Allah for his protection from this evil person and that which surrounds him, and to keep us on the straight and narrow path of obedience to our one and only Lord. My name is Tariq Khalid. I'd like to thank you for joining us here at Sharjah TV and getting to know Allah, getting closer to Allah, and we hope and we pray that you are doing this and making a concerted effort. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.